Alright, so today we're doing part 3 of rebuilding the old dual-engine, fully suspensioned off-road go-kart. Now, last video was all about beefing up the rear swing arms, getting the engines mounted, and the shocks mounted and figured out where they're going to go. Now that we did all that, now we can focus on the whole back end, this side of the go-kart, and rebuilding the whole front end, making the A-arms longer, and lifting up the front end. So I was really trying to figure out, like, how could I mount shocks onto, you know, these A-arms. These are a lot longer than the original ones, in case you guys are wondering. Here is the original A-arm that was on here. As you can see, this is a lot shorter than these. So therefore, obviously it's going to take more strength to hold this thing up because this is longer, and because I want this to have long travel suspension. You know, it needs to have enough strength to be, you know, the anchoring point have to be really close to the pivot point, so therefore it can have long travel suspension. So originally I was thinking of just using one of these shocks. I put it here, tested it, and the frame just bottomed out. One of these shocks does not have enough strength. The only way I could really use only one of these shocks is move the pivot, the anchoring point really close to the tire, and that would make it to where it doesn't have that much travel. So I came up with this idea. Basically, it's just dual front shocks for each A-arm. So 4 shocks in total. This has plenty of strength to hold up the frame while giving me the incredible travel that I want. So this looks amazing. It's going to work really well. All I really need to do is, cut this piece off where originally you can only mount one shock onto here. Cut this off and replace it with 2 of them right here, and then mount it right there to the bottom A-arm. Alright, so the frame is finally done, and you have to admit, this thing just looks so cool. It looks like it's just really fast. So, with this one, I really took my time and really, figured out like what can I do to make this thing look cool, and it really paid off. I know I replaced like 80 or 90% of the original frame, and this was supposed to be a rebuild, and I kind of went a little nuts and replaced so much on here that there's really not that much left of the original frame. But I ended up with this, so you really can't, it's not the end of the world. That frame that I started with, it really didn't look that great. Welds were really bad, and, it just didn't really look, I ended up with something like this, so it was totally, definitely worth completely destroying that other frame and, rebuilding it with this. For all the people who are wondering, does the suspension work? I know a lot of people had your doubts in the last video of this project that the rear suspension was not going to work. A lot of people said that it's just not going to work. I need to totally redesign it. You haven't seen the front end, so you haven't had a chance to say it's not going to work yet. So, for all those people who thought it wasn't going to work, let me show you it in action. So, mind you, I can't really jump on this thing too much just because it's still only tacked together. I still haven't gone back and completely welded everything together. That's how I build this stuff. But I think it's still strong enough to be able to do this without it breaking. So, as you can see, yes, the suspension works really well. It has plenty of travel, and because it is full independent suspension, it can do this. So, which is awesome. So, I cannot believe how well the suspension turned out. I cannot wait to get this thing running, and I cannot wait to drive this for the first time. So, for those of you who are wondering, the front suspension works incredibly well. This dual shock setup works really well. It has plenty of strength to hold up the whole frame while having plenty of travel. As you can see, it almost, it gets kind of pretty close to the ground, and it has more travel to go. So I think if I wanted to, I could make the frame touch the ground, and it has plenty of height at the top of the suspension. So the suspension works incredibly well. Now, obviously, next video of this project's just going to be more working on it, trying to get it finished. I need to install all the steering components, the rack and pinion, steering wheel, tie rods, all that kind of stuff, and we still need to finish rebuilding these engines. I kind of started rebuilding one of them. Go Power Sports did give me brand new torque converters to put on here. Yes, there are torque converters already on here, but these have kind of seen their better days. They've been neglected for a couple of years, so I still need to again finish rebuilding these things. New air intake, new mufflers, new headers, and new torque converters. Still need to hook up the brakes, the brake pedal, gas pedal, calipers, all that kind of stuff. But before all that can happen, we still need to go back, take everything off this frame, and finish welding this entire frame together. But that's all for the next video of this project. Now I have to thank Go Power Sports for sending me all the parts I use for this project. Everything you see here, minus the engines and the frame. I'll be leaving links to all this stuff in the description below. Go check all that out. Follow me on Instagram. I'll have a link in the description below to that. I gotta end the video here. Thank you for watching. Thank you for 150,000 subscribers. Actually, today, I just reached 150,000 subscribers. I cannot believe, I can't believe how big my channel has gotten in the past couple months and the past couple of years. Thank you, everybody who has subscribed and who has supported me in everything that I do. Everything that I do in this tiny little shop would not be possible without you guys watching and helping me and all this kind of stuff. So thank you everybody who has subscribed, who has supported me in everything that I do. But yeah, I gotta end the video here. Thank you for watching. Subscribe and have a nice day.